Hello everyone, hope you're having a good time so far. The next session will be Marketing in Asia 2023. We will look into trends, insights, and tips to grow your brand. Let's welcome the guest, the moderator, Bojan Nikovic, the digital lead at Ultimate Fintech, who will introduce the panel. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Hello everyone. Hello. Hello everyone. Warm welcome from my side to the IFX Expo Asia Marketing panel. We have great guest speakers today with me. I'd like to introduce you to you. So I'll start from my left side, Stefano Virgili, DWF Labs Venture Capital, Italian board, Singapore PR. With a diverse career, 5 years in sales, 5 years in marketing, 5 years in training, 5 years in cybersecurity, 5 years in crypto and blockchain, spanning through Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. To his left, Justin Payton, Chief Transformation Officer, Wunderman Thompson. Justin is a strategic marketing leader who helps brands connect the dots between today's emerging technologies and tomorrow's business opportunities. In his role as Chief Transformation and Strategy Officer for Wunderman Thompson, APAC, he brings together the tech, data, commerce, customer experience, and brand strategy practices to unlock the latent potential of brands through innovative new services, business models, engaging experiences, and creative content. Maxim Kalyakin, Senior FinTech Lead for HTTP Alep Group. Maxim leads the FinTech industry growth at Alep, the leading global enabler of digital advertising and official sales partner to all largest social media platforms. He worked in IT at Hewlett-Packard and later in sales at Twitter, where he quickly established himself as a passionate trainer and mentor, and later as performance expert to his peers, while simultaneously a trusted partner and strategic advisor to his clients. Hadi Labi, Chief Marketing Officer, Emporium Capital Group. Hadi is the Chief Marketing Officer. He has extensive experience in marketing with the financial service industry as other various sectors. Hadi has helped several firms develop effective and high-impact marketing strategies in their respective fields. He also holds a master's degree in international marketing from EIA Lyon School of Management in France. He has developed social media presence and large PR campaigns. Over the years, he has also helped several financial firms launch and develop significant presence in MENA region. Last not the least, Steven Hatzakis. Steven, as the Global Director of Online Broker Research at Rank Media Group since 2016. Steven's research and broker reviews are read by millions of people each year across RMG-operated domains, including forexbroker.com, broker notes, and stockbrokers. Steven holds a Series 3 license in the US with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission as a registered commodity trading advisor. Since 2008, in addition to bringing nearly 25 years of Forex industry experience, including over 1,000 published articles, Steven has been writing about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for almost 10 years. We have a fantastic group of speakers, so we are into a very exciting session. The last few years have been a wild ride as we have witnessed changes on a global scale that have forever altered consumer habits. Booming MarTech and the new world metaverse becoming more integrated into the FinTech landscape. How can businesses keep up with ever-evolving trends, tech and regulation in marketing in Asia and beyond? We'll look for these answers in today's panel session. I would like to open this session with maybe a sentence forged 26 years ago that content reigns as the king, and I guess that today we still see that even though through these years the content has kept his importance, and in today's time I would like to maybe start from the importance of content and get the point of view from our today's speakers. As somebody who has done a lot of content in his very fruitful career, I would like to speak maybe Steven to start with this topic.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me clearly? Okay, great. So thank you for that introduction, and yeah, look forward to participating in this panel. I would start with the importance of best practices with content. Content has come a long way. We've seen the quality of content improve when you look at like educational materials from brokers, research, and even the quality of ads on the internet. It's moving towards greater accuracy, because nobody wants to be misled. There's been a lot of bad practices in the industry over the years, but I think it's moving in a better direction. However, there is still room to improve. And we've seen recently regulators make announcements, like ASIC just 2 weeks ago said that brokers need to be careful with their zero spread and zero commission marketing materials, because people still end up paying fees. And that's why I think the question is, how can we make the content even more accurate so that it's really a true representation of what the product offering is? Because if you're a broker, you might think you have the best platform in the world, but unless it truly is, you need to be honest about how you're describing your product. And I think that comes down to making sure that the subject matter experts are writing the material, or they're at least speaking to the people who are writing the material, and that truly represents the scope of the offering of the products that you have. Like in the crypto industry, we've seen projects say, oh, our platform does this, but they haven't even built the platform yet. So it needs to be in the present tense, like what is the state of the product now? So my summary is that there needs to be, the goal of marketing is to have, to inspire people and to create a loyal following, no matter what the message is, whether it's branding,
Absolutely.
whether it's for conversion rates. And I think to avoid having a bad customer experience, you really need to, inspire clients with accurate information. So how can we make the content more accurate? I think that trickles down into the marketing. So it all starts from the content, and sometimes that has to be from the culture within the company. Across the whole entire organization, as opposed to having one person solve that problem.
Thank you, Steve. Hadi, would you give us your point of view?
Sure, thanks a lot. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep.
That's fine? Yeah, all right. I think content is always the key and the king. So there is a kind of evolution on the way how we're going to go to the market. For example, we've been using offline channels before, but we have been always paying attention to how the content will be while using the offline channel. And then we move a little bit to the digital world, of course, and to all the new technology using new channels of marketing. But focus on content is the same, or even more today. I think from brokerage industry or any other industry, we really need to pay a big attention to how we're gonna create our content. And of course, as Stephen say, a lot of brokers are claiming the fact that they are number one, or the fact that their platform is the best, and et cetera, et cetera. For me, this is not the kind of content that will be in the future the best selling point. We need to be a little bit on more a creative side to build a kind of trust relationship with the customer using this content, of course, create a quality content, whatever is a video or photography or even articles or anything like that. So paying attention to the quality of content, for me, is the key to achieve a successful marketing campaign.
Thank you. Maxim, maybe your point of view from performance perspective.
Absolutely, actually. I will just, I'll come back to what my colleagues are saying here. By content not just being the king, but also being of the most important part, I would say, in terms of advertising. So when we talk about advertising, in general, what we practice is distinguish the platforms that you work with. So if you diversify the channels that you advertise on, each channel has a unique audience. You can build a community there quite easily with the right type of content. So making the content really specific with a really good quality, and you can generate a really good reach. And by that reach, you can have a really build a long-term not just the community, but also relationship, ROI at the end of the day, and things like that. So I would say when we talk about content, there's no content without the community. There's no community without understanding the channels that you work with. So diversifying the content on the platform level is very, very important. Every platform has its nuances, it has its own difficulties, especially as an industry like this, which is usually online, quite regulated and difficult to advertise, I would even say, because of the type of the work that we do. So being specific is key.
Thank you, Maxim. And since I would let Stefano first, since we are all in, you are all into the industry which is highly regulated, and Justin has a bit broader also, so I would leave him for the end, since he would like to ask a couple more questions. Regarding content, your point of view, Stefano, how would you?
Thank you. So first of all, something during the introduction you talk about me, I'd like to spend 2 words on our company. We are the 3rd largest trading entity in crypto. We are very big. We also do investment. So obviously, as a trader side, we don't need clients. But when we talk about our market making services or our venture capital, we do work with other projects. And we notice that there is a fear of the content that we are going to put out there. I had a conversation yesterday with Twitter, for example. They called me for the 2nd time this week, saying that we can't advertise our metaverse projects on our Twitter channels. But the challenge is that we are not a metaverse project. We are a venture capital firm, and we can't talk about metaverse. We can't talk about play to earn. Leave alone LinkedIn. The moment you put any word related to Web3 or crypto, they ban your ad immediately. You can't talk about it at all. But on the other hand, we had like 700 media coverage in the past 10 days. And so definitely we can put out there content that is crypto related, but then when it comes to certain platforms, it's a big no-go. So I think the way around could be to talk about educational content. So information, education around crypto, around metaverse, about play to earn. But then the line between what you can say, what you cannot say is very thin, and just one wrong word and then you're out.
Thank you. Justin, I would like to hear your point of view, since you span across different categories and your experience is wide in that sense, not only covering the industry which we are now addressing to, but also, so I would like to hear your point of view for the content.
Well, I think that everybody's made great points about the importance of content, the quality of content, where you put that content, but I think that that's also really just thinking about yourselves. And while that's important, you've got to really look at the audience and understand who they are and understand what you can measure and understand how you're actually going to optimize that content over time. I think too few people spend enough time analyzing the performance of their own content and then optimizing that in order to look at what's going to perform better for them going forward. The truth is, most of us get more content in our inbox and are bombarded with more content than we want. I ignore 99% of the things that I'm sent. I'm guessing everybody in this room does. So the question then becomes, how do you actually stand out? How do you actually cut through? I think there were some fantastic points that were made around the creativity side of that, but the key point is that once you start cutting through, you've got to identify which audience was it that I actually cut through with? Am I cutting through with my existing clients? Am I cutting through with new to business clients? And then what part of this was starting to cut through? Is it because it was short format? Is it because I added more video? Is it and look at what you're actually doing that works. Start repeating those things and start repeating them for the right audiences. And look at how you can scale growth behind that. Because the question is, the problem with content is, it's expensive to do good quality content and keep it going for a long time. So if you're going to do this, the goal should be to make it work as hard as it can. And if I'm really honest, I work with a lot of businesses that create a lot of content, and too many of them think that the job is done when they put the content out. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the job. You put the content out, great. Now how is it performing? Who is it performing with? What are the tools that you've got to be able to optimize that? If you're going to follow up on that content, how are you able to personalize the follow-ups? Those are the questions that people need to be asking and moving forward with. Anyways, hope that's helpful.
Justin, to continue, like we are seeing how technology is continuously changing the marketing landscape. So maybe like just what you give a great point, like the building the content is one thing, distributing it becomes completely another. Getting to the right audience is the third thing. How technology could help in that sense, and what are some key elements where we see, or even though like where technology leads in that sense in the future, and how it can serve marketers?
I think this is a very hard question, because what we're seeing is fragmentation of distribution channels, right? You're seeing a whole lot of fragmentation, and where you're going to spend money and where you're going to waste money is in putting together different content for every channel and starting from scratch when you try to build that. What you want to start to look at is technology that allows you to create modular content that can be broken up into different scales and different sizes, and then starting to test those modules in different channels for those distribution formats, right? So you can wind up with one longer piece of content that you develop, but ultimately that one longer piece of content can be chunked up into different sizes, pushed out into different channels, and measured for performance across different medium, both from a CRM perspective and from a media and kind of audience development and business development standard, right? So what I tend to look at and what I tend to think about is, in the first instance, where does the audience who we're trying to talk to live, and how do we get in touch with them from a channel perspective? Then you can start looking at what are the formats that fit within those channels, and what are the formats that cut through within those channels. Then you can start looking at, okay, with that in mind, great. Now what we need to find is the one long format template that allows me to build that content in a modular format, and there's lots of tech that will help you kind of build that in modular chunks in a similar way to what a content management system will do for a website, right? That's what you're talking about. And as you start to put that together, you want to start to build a rules engine. So you're looking for a distribution tool that will look at what the rules engine is to push that content into different places. With that, you need to make sure that you've got technology in place that's tagging the content. You probably want to put elements within the content to look at how people are engaging in different areas. So testing kind of different engagement tools to see how far down the page they actually read, to look at what types of engagement people are actually taking. Are they hitting play on a video? Are they actually engaging in a tool? What are the areas that exist? Even if you're getting no...
Yeah. But the technology definitely helps us gather, and
100%.
Stefano, you're doing projects on a huge scale and deploying huge investments. What is your point of view on technology, and what are the main elements that how it's changing the landscape that we are living in?
So I will say that when we started investing in Web3, our core focus was on infrastructure projects. There are a lot of Web2 businesses now that they want to migrate to Web3, putting on-chain parts of their business. We tried to do this 5 years ago, didn't work out. There is a second wave of that type of effort coming now. I've noticed some trends that are trying to link the metaverse to the offline world, and the other way around. There was an interesting project where you can track existing, like real airplanes in the sky with your camera, and through augmented reality, they drop supplies that then you can find in your games. So there are a lot of cross offline to online, Web2 to Web3 ideas that are coming up in terms of content that are really exciting, really gamified. Definitely, the gaming industry has taken over the Hollywood industry, the traditional entertainment industry. There are a lot of opportunities there. It was shown by the efforts that were made in the metaverse last year, especially by a multinational corporation that went in and bought land in the metaverse, or bought advertising in the metaverse. I think over there's going to be a good runway of 2 to 3 years of opportunities to communicate. The technology have to improve, of course, because nowadays it's just too segmented. There are too few people in it, but then between games and metaverse, there is a massive wave coming, and we are investing in there quite a lot.
Fantastic. Maxim, would you give us your point of view on how you are dealing every day with the technology and how is it helping you in serving better to your clients?
I would say that we can't talk about technology without touching the last couple of years, just like you mentioned initially. It was a wild ride the last couple of years, right? We all had some struggles. There was a global pandemic going on, and as the pandemic progressed, so did this particular industry with the technology, the way it evolved, ad tech in general, the way the platforms approached working online, for example, working from home, and things like that. It kind of gave this opportunity, I believe, to this particular industry to thrive really, really well. Because we spend more time online. We do. And by that, we absorb more content. By absorbing more content, we are in touch with the technology. And by doing that, we're constantly evolving. So I would say in ad tech in general, when it comes to the technology, that the platforms themselves, the way they approached it, they built a lot of, first of all, they spend a lot of resources and time into building really good, sustainable tools, which helped us to lead more meaningful conversations online. And then they also allowed us to be more strategic, more accurate in terms of measurement, in terms of predictability, in terms of audience segmentation, things like that. So I believe the way we're progressing, it's in a really, really good stage. Even if we had a global pandemic and crypto is down or whatever, but like the way the technology is evolving, it's in a really good progress, and especially the last couple of years, I would say.
Thank you. Hadi, in your everyday work, how the technology is helping you achieve your results and objectives?
Yes. I think technology is growing very fast. And as a marketer, we must always be updated. And we must use it the right way to take the most advantage of it. Now the thing is, of course, without going into very technical details, for example, technology will help me to get the best segmentation for my target market, or to have the best insight from any marketing or campaign, digital marketing campaign, anything, and to retarget and to do too many other things. However, there's just something, and I think it's just about knowing exactly from this technology what we must use and what we must keep at the side. The thing is, I think in our industry, a lot of people are doing exactly, a lot of brokers are doing exactly the same thing, using exactly the same technology. Okay, we're gonna use for example, if we're gonna run a marketing campaign, we have to do ABCs. We're gonna do a lead generation, remarketing, retargeting, this and that. And everyone is almost doing exactly the same thing. But the problem is not each broker have his own selling point, his own geo target, his own things. So we cannot do the same thing and expect a different result from the other. So here's why we have to be a little bit smart on the way how we're gonna use technology. At Emporium Capital, we pay a lot of attention to using the right technology and using the right thing just for the sake of getting the best of it. We're not gonna do exactly the same thing as the other broker, even if we, for example, find there's a new technology. For example, not even a technology, just if you see that all the brokers are running social media campaigns, for example, for lead generation, and it's working for them, I might not do the same at Emporium. Why? Because I might not target the same people, so I don't need to do this. It's unfortunate that a lot of marketers are just following the same trend for the sake of following it, just because he did it, the other one have done it before, so I need to do it because it's on the trend, it's on the technological trend. So that's why I'm always saying, yes, technology is one thing, growing is another thing, but being smart on the way how you're gonna use it, that makes the entire difference between me as a broker and you as another broker.
Thank you. Steven.
I think that the challenge here, regardless of what technology you use, is what is the intent behind the content or the marketing campaign, whether it's successful or not. Because if the message isn't inspiring the user for the right reason, then that user could end up having a bad experience in the future. And I think I agree with the comments about tracking. We update content dynamically, and using the statistics to improve your content is key, because that obviously will benefit the marketing efforts. But I think that it comes back to one of the points that Hadi made about the trust, is that there's so many scams online and in the industry. Just a few weeks ago here in Thailand, a YouTuber, Nutty, I believe her name was, scammed $50 million from investors on YouTube. So people nowadays, whether it's the younger generation or older, they're consuming content from all these different platforms, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it. And I think brokers need to really make sure they're communicating the importance of the trust factor and avoiding scams and dealing with regulated companies. Because when you create content, there could be a million different designs that you might have and creative ideas to solve a problem. But if the context is not the right context, meaning like, what is the goal? And that has to be defined, and it has to be aligned with the company culture, with the mission statement, with the goal. That's really when I think you see powerful messages that create a culture change amongst the customers, where they become more loyal and they love your brand because they really, think that you're being genuine. You're not just following the others, and you're authentic.
Fulfilling the promise.
Right, but the problem is you have a lot of scammers out there that are authentic and that are genuine in their appearance and in their content and their creative. So I think avoiding scams is really key, and that comes back to regulation.
Maybe I would ask you just on that point to continue, since like the new technologies and I would say like the NFTs, the Web3 is there probably to help us build this integrity, who's behind some content. And in that sense, maybe just let us, because there is a lot of guys interested for the topics of NFTs, of metaverse, give us, and that would be probably the last round before before we give our closing.
No, great question. Thank you. Really quick, I created an NFT back in like 2018, so I like to think I was an early pioneer there. But the challenge is, it's very complex technology. It might be easy to self-custody an NFT, but there are still a lot of complexities and people could lose these assets. So brokers have an opportunity to custody NFTs and other digital assets for clients, not just offering crypto CFDs, so that because those clients might liquidate those assets in the future and trade other investment products. So I'm definitely excited about NFTs in the future of the metaverse, whether it's online, offline, as Stefano mentioned with Web 2 and Web 3. I think that the challenge is, again, scams, and there's so many projects, and how do you do the right due diligence? How do you know which projects are legit, which projects you should follow? There's just so much information out there. So again, it comes back to finding high quality content written by trustworthy companies, and the marketers have to look at what is the user intent. To Justin's point about knowing the customer. You have to really know what problem are you trying to solve with the marketing. It can't just be about conversions or selling a product. It has to be bigger than that. And I think I'm positive about the Web3 space, but it's still early. And I think maybe brokers are still a decade away from offering decentralized exchanges and things like that, and metaverse products. But it's coming fast, so it's an exciting space.
Justin, I would ask you. You are a respected thought leader for the Web3. You have you are publishing regularly on this topic, NFTs, metaverse. What is the potential for marketers in the future, and how they can benefit from it?
I do talk a lot about this. I think that the interesting sides are yet to really show up. As you said, there are a lot of projects with a lot of big promises. There are a lot of elements, but realistically, at the moment, and I know that this is a group of people working in finance, but I'm going to try to break this into two sides. Right now, most of what we're talking about is purely the speculation side, right? You're seeing a lot of projects where people are looking for investment, and it's speculative, Not just speculation in terms of is my investment going to go up or down, but also speculative of is there actually ever going to be a project that actually has a business use case that comes out of this? And a huge number of these projects won't. You're seeing this as an investment vehicle. For so many people are seeing this as an unregulated investment vehicle for projects that aren't necessarily as far along as they like to purport them to be. But when I look at the promise for marketers, and I'm working with a number of brands across a number of different industries on opportunities using these technologies, we're seeing a huge amount of interest in people looking at NFTs and tokens to look at solving challenges around identity, KYC, around solving challenges around loyalty, and reconnecting with people and validating that. We're seeing a huge number of people move into the space of simply looking at token gating in order to allow different access, in order to provide different provisions and exclusivity. So the interesting side to me becomes the fact that marketers are starting to cross over into the land of the product. These things are becoming one and the same. Right? Product and marketing are going to become the same, as marketing through Web3 products is an active verb rather than just communicating to someone. It's action-oriented because these tools are designed to be interactive. They're designed to be participatory. So that's the really interesting thing that we're starting to see.
We are seeing also brands using it as a communication vehicle, as all these new technologies resonate with different audience that are attractive to many of the brands. And since the time just flew out, we are close to finishing our session. I would like you to, for the end, provide to the audience some insights and trends into what, since we are speaking about the future, but let's maybe make just what's in front of us and how they can focus their intentions for being result-driven in that sense of helping their brands grow. Hadi, would you like maybe to start the closing thing?
I think we've been talking a lot about technology, about content, but one of the trends also that we are missing is the influencer marketing side. I think we've seen like a huge growth, for the past few years, and we're expecting even more and more. Influencer marketing become today something very important, necessary for a brand to grow. Now, it's just about how we're gonna handle this and how we're gonna control this, because as Steven said, we've seen too many content on the web that might not be, the right content for any brand, and might not be accurate, might not be authentic. So the challenge for marketers is to choose the right content creator that will speak to the market in an authentic way. So I think for me, influencer marketer will be something that all the industries, and mainly on the brokerage industry, will have to keep an eye on it, and will have to handle with a lot of attention, because our industry is quite sensitive. The messages we are providing to the world are very sensitive. We're highly regulated and everything. So we need to choose the right people. We need to choose the right message. We need to choose the right influencer key to represent us to the market. So for me, influencer market is one of the key trends for the upcoming years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stefano, could I ask you for your message for the audience?
Sure. One of the areas where we are investing is DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. One of the projects we've invested on is XDAO. They have already helped 20,000 DAOs to be created on their platform. These are 20,000 companies that do not respond to any regulator. Like, you can build a DAO with a MetaMask wallet today. And there are a lot of these companies coming up. They are not under any jurisdiction on any existing country. It's like sovereign citizen type of entity. And these type of DAOs entities, some of them are very large, like 50,000 people part of it, that they partake in the decision making. And these are pockets of audience and pockets of potential customers that are very interesting and appealing, because they decide through a voting system whether they want to work with the sponsor or with the company that decide to invest in them. And they are very narrow in their targeting because they know exactly what they want to talk about and what do they not want to talk about. So DAOs to me is one of the most interesting trends that is coming up in the next few years.
Thank you. Maxim, you operate in performance-driven environment. I guess the audience would love to hear something.
Definitely. I would just say looking ahead would be, there's several layers, I would say, but the most important thing is, as many of the people here mentioned, there's a lot of regulation here that we have to mention. So, for example, if you want to drive performance on a platform, first of all, you need to be enabled on that platform to run anything, right? Otherwise, you're just going to get blocked. So, to have, for example, we at Aleph, we enable clients to run paid advertising on these platforms by working with the platforms directly, making sure that we certify the clients that they're eligible by the platform to run the ads. But at the same time, we make sure that this is a legit business. It's, you know, there's no scam and things like that involved. So we, at the same time, make sure that users have the good experience of enjoying the good content built by good technology. So I would say once you pass this layer, we go to the audience. So looking ahead on the audiences, they're younger and younger and younger. They're more and more educated. They're more involved into technology, and they're always looking for new things, exploring mindset. So I would say keep that in mind, exploring mindset and newer generations that are coming up and looking for things as one of those key points.
Thank you. Steven.
I would say one trend worth mentioning is the quality of the educational material that I mentioned earlier. You know, nowadays brokers are starting to create university-grade quality educational content because that's really what traders are demanding. You know, it's not enough to just have a video saying, oh, you should create a trading strategy. Like literally, content now is getting to the point where it will go deeply into the subject matter, and there'll be progress tracking or quizzes that you can take when you're going through a course that's going to enable you to see, you know, how well you did or how much you know the content that you just learned. Just like you would expect if you're taking a class at a university online. So I think we're going to start to see more of that. The quality of the educational materials is going to continue to get more advanced, as well as research. And across the entire you know, website that brokers have, or even if it's a YouTube video they have, again, the quality of the content should be going towards greater transparency, greater explanation of the subject matter, and not just having it be more salesy like we had, you know, decades ago, where whether you're speaking to a customer service rep, you know, nobody wants to be sold, right? So I think, again, it has to start from the top and be part of the culture of the brokerage, where it's not just about conversion, it's about educating the customer and really the relationship with them. So that was one of my takeaways on the trends, is the quality of the education and also the need for best practices with balanced ads. Like, you want the content in the marketing to be balanced and not making claims that are, like, you know, unreasonable, because it could be very subtle. Marketers get away with making very kind of subtle claims, and they hope not to get in trouble by it, right? But things like what the ASIC regulator said with the zero commissions, you know, even something as subtle as that is attracting negative attention. So clients need to deal with trustworthy brokers to avoid scams, you know, not take advice from YouTube. So I think that's another trend. Hopefully the masses are going to, you know, gravitate towards trusted institutions.
Providing education,
right.
It will also help build the trust from the brand. Justin, your message for the audience.
So no one's mentioned it, and we failed to mention it in the tech section. So I'll talk about AI created content, right? If you haven't played with GPT-3, I'd recommend it. If you haven't played with Midjourney, I'd recommend it. These tools are increasingly going to be used to create content. They'll be trained on your brand content. It'll write the text automatically. It'll expand everything. These tools are already there. The speed with which they are getting better is amazing. And so I'd say play with those tools a little bit. They're fun, if nothing else, to begin with. But there are a lot of businesses that are starting to spring up that are giving you access to some of these tools to create brand content that will feel on brand and can write B2B related content.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We are 1 minute till the end. I would love if the audience have any questions for our guests. This is the moment. Please.
Thank you. It's a quick one. Can you repeat those AI tools?
So GPT-3 is a text writing engine. It's a publicly available toy that you can play with, but there are a number of companies that are using that technology in order to create tools that you can monetize, or tools that you can actually use to create content. GPT-3 on its own is just the underlying tech. And then Midjourney is another piece of tech. You'll have to play with that through Discord, but it'll just show you how from a few cues it's going to create visuals and creative images. It's not a B2B tool, it's really just creative and art, but it'll give you a view as to where this technology is going. It will inspire you to think about where it's going, and from there you can start to look at and find the companies that are actually using these AI technologies to build tools.
Do we have more questions? Please. Fortunately, this would be the last one.
Hi, thank you. I just have a question, Justin. You mentioned optimization of content and tech stacks. Obviously, there's a lot of choice there. Datarama, Adobe, Google Analytics, HubSpot, Pardo. Where do you see it going, and where do you see the best optimization when it comes to content?
So as far as tech stacks go, I'm not going to talk about any brands specifically because I don't think that's the right thing to do, and I'm not an expert in all of them. But what I would say is we're going to continue to see a push towards modularity, and you're going to start to see measurement and predictability at a modular level. So we all talk quite a bit about predictive analytics and being able to forecast elements. I think that forecasting element so far has been based by and large on trying to forecast elements like conversion and the elements that drive real business value, which is great. But when we talk about content and the connection, what we really want to be able to predict is this solving a need and solving a challenge that our target audience actually has. So I think you're going to start to see predictability move from just looking at the business side to looking at the audience side as well. But again, I'm starting to see the beginning of that in things, but I'm not privy to what a lot of these companies' tech roadmaps look like. So don't quote me on it.
It's said that we can have one more question if somebody would like to ask. If not, we are finalizing. No? We have.
Hi guys, did you see DYDX release the Hedgies? I believe it's a decentralized exchange, and they used an NFT and sold out within 30 seconds, which is quite impressive, but you need to hold the Hedgie to unlock various access points as you trade. Do any of you know about that or have seen that?
I didn't also hear very well. Can you just...
Did any of you see the Hedgies, the NFT that enables unlock points with trading? Are any of you aware of that or have seen it?
Yeah, I still don't understand, and I think maybe if you can...
I think
Steven?
I haven't heard of it, but it sounds like a loyalty kind of program that a broker would offer to have a promotion, such as like a trading discount, or it could also maybe be analogized to a, if that's a word, kind of like a staking situation where it's a quasi-dividend where you're holding the NFT and then you're getting some benefits. But it does sound kind of, next generation, and I could imagine other exchanges or brokers might do similar, loyalty point type of promotional discounts with NFTs.
I think I got mixed feelings about NFTs. I see it like the tulip speculation to a certain extent, where everyone wants to look pretty for the wave of NFT that we have seen last year. But I think that the NFT is going to much different direction, and if within the next 1 year we barely remember that you used to have NFT as your as your avatar on Twitter, but it's going to be linked more to title ownership. I'm imagining it's quite interesting actually that we missed the opportunity to put the COVID vaccination status on the blockchain or NFT. But that tells you that the industry is not mature for it. Or it could be that now when you go to rent a car, they give you an NFT that is the title to ownership of the car that you're renting until you return the car. So you trade the token back. The NFT back when you rent a car. So it can go attached to an insurance, it can go attached to a car rental, it can go attached to anything that you need to use for a short period of time and then you want to return. But then we need to make our head clear whether we want to buy an NFT because we want to hold it forever or because we want to buy it now and we enter into a greater fool scheme where we find someone that is willing to pay 50% more than what we pay, and then it becomes a speculative issue. And that's what crypto and blockchain and Web3 has to battle against now. Are you in there because you want to make money more than you could have ever imagined, or are you there because you really want the company to build something that sticks around? And my guess is that since 99% of the projects that I've seen in 2017 are no longer around, I think that everyone is in for a quick buck at the moment. It might not be the most sustainable way of approaching the market moving forward.
Thank you. We are out of time. Thank you so much for being on this session. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your words.